Okay, so we've got Saturn moving into Aquarius today, which means it's a solitary path. A lone idealist with rigid, although unconventional views may fit awkwardly into society. So wherever you've got Aquarius in your chart, it means it will be a solitary path. So, here we go. Wild card for today, 17th of December 2020. What do we need to know? So, Spirit giving me Eric today. So Eric may mean something to you. I haven't heard that name for a very long time. I'm not really getting Eric in spirit there. So it may be somebody that they've left behind in the flesh. They're giving me no symptoms, no nothing. So Eric is the important name. The only Eric I ever knew was a drummer years and years ago when I was a child. So perhaps this Eric is a drummer. Whoever is in spirit is giving me some sort of injury to the left shoulder. So it could be you or them. Or it could be important for some reason. Somebody's carrying a heavy burden. Today's card is the Aquarius card, which is very good because we're, as we've just said, Saturn is moving into Aquarius. Was it Saturn? Yep. Saturn going into Aquarius, so it should be interesting. And there it is, the first card, so it's very important. They don't do that for no reason. Let's see, shall we? What do we need to know about this Saturn in Aquarius? Aquarius rules the ankles and the legs. We don't seem to have any issues there because it's the right way up. And groups and the wider society as a whole. So expect big things on the world stage. Okay, so what's happening here is we're in limbo. The changes are having to be put off for some reason. Fate cannot intervene until you've made your decisions. Those born on the 10th, living or past, state for your diary and address, massively important in a negative way. So it's a reverse in fortunes, a run of bad luck. Somebody just wants peace. So perhaps it's because of the Christmas period. We just want to call a truce and get over Christmas. 4 weeks is mentioned. There is a danger from dishonesty with finances and career. something hangs in the balance. There is Taurus energy, where you have to speak your truth, and it's about material matters, it's about marriages, it's about friendships. It's Taurus rules the neck and throat and material matters. It's also about the way you've been led to believe things. And it may be a good time to sign something, contract, etc. Those born on the 5th or the 23rd, massively important in a positive way, and there is some sort of union involved. But there is an older water sign male or someone with water in the chart, mature, who is very upset. This is possibly even depression because of this situation. So 4 weeks to 2 months is mentioned. Also 8 years, which means no communication via the internet. Also, someone's not putting the effort in that's needed. And that's why there's a run of bad luck. So let's see if we can find out more. The only, well, no, all signs are mentioned, but the only real fact is the Taurus energy. 5th or the 23rd, living or past, date for your diary and address, massively important in a positive way, sorry. It's doing things by the book. Someone is doing things by the book. Wow, that's massive. I know, okay. There it is again, doubled up. So it's massively important. I suggest Christmas Eve is going to be very important. Wow. So we've just entered a nightmare. And I can hear you saying, oh my God, we've just left a nightmare. But I'm afraid it's going to get worse before it gets better. Someone is no longer in denial. Someone is raising things to the ground. This is going to be such a shock. Massive arguments, accidents, losses, people leaving home, financial problems, water, electrical problems. The shit's hit the fan, basically. A massive shock. Those born on the 16th, living or past, date for your diary and address, massively important. And it's a positive way because it's a blessing in disguise. You have enemies. A family situation is coming to an end, but you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. Take that risk, jump off the cliff and make your wings on the way down. Follow your true north. There will be 3 blessings. Those born on the 5th or the 23rd, living or past, once again, date for your diary and address, massively important in a positive way. You may have to defend your decisions. This is Spirit giving you the gift of a whole new beginning. Your happiness depends on this. Your cup will be overflowing if you accept this gift. It is, though, a nightmare situation. Unconditional love of a water sign male. Messages and offers of love coming in. So it doesn't have to be a water sign, it could be anywhere in your chart, the water. But this is about a marriage or a friendship, material matters, or the way you believe things, the way you've been taught to believe, is changing in a big way. And it's going to make you enemies. massive. Someone may have made the wrong decision in the past. Those born on the 6th or the 24th, living or past, date for your diary and address. Massively important in a negative way. It's Gemini energy, rules the hands, arms, shoulders, so there may be issues there. And separations. Again, we've got the King of Cups. He's up 1 minute, down the next. The lockdown situation is important. Hospital doors, health matters. The wren. When you see the wren in the snow, it is a sign from spirit. That day will be a good day. Someone has to travel within or without to find themselves. Material matter should have no bearing on your life. This is about your true path in life. Spirit are saying you are not going to walk this next part of the journey alone, so don't worry about that. They will send you someone in spirit or the flesh to guide you so that you do not stumble and fall. It's Virgo energy, and it rules the abdomen and the intestines, so the gut instinct. Those born on the 9th or the 27th, living or past, date for your diary and address, massively important in a positive way. Things are not what they seem. If they look bad, they aren't. And if they look good, they're not as good as you think they are. Someone definitely has a rite of passage. Something they need to do. Walking across that threshold. There's no going back to the old way of doing things. There is apathy and boredom. Refusing to accept something. So, because you refuse to accept something, the transformation cannot take place. When there's a death, there's a birth. So something has to end first. Scorpio energy, it rules the reproductive organs and shared resources. And someone has to take action. Fire sign, older male, mature. Someone has to shed a skin. So it looks like the period from the 23rd to the 27th will be massively important for you to decide what path you are going to take. Yeah. So what you are is what you receive. You smile, they smile. If you are looking at something or someone that you don't want, you need to look within and look at yourself. Your behaviour, your way of doing things, and change it. So, the Lady of the Mirror is both ally and challenger, asking you to see yourself in the mirror of your events of your life. She represents a powerful force of law of attraction and reminds you that you are what you attract. This isn't to say that you need to blame yourself for inviting transgressions, or if you find yourself a victim of a big picture event, say a war. That's a distorted interpretation. But you must find yourself within the web, the internet, what did I say, woven through your life, your relationships, the opportunities, the desires, the seeming failures and successes. Observe how you responded to life's challenges and what the consequences were, great and small, and be aware of what is familiar in the present. So in some way you've been in this situation before. Release all judgment of yourself and others and accept that things are exactly as they are with love, which you're refusing to accept at this time. The Lady of the Mirror asks that you honour every part of your story as essential to your highest unfolding. Can you see yourself as being exactly where you need to be, on the threshold of a new beginning? Do you love what you see in the mirror? If not, why not? Go within and think. Can you perceive your part and the reactions and the motives behind the current inquiry? You will find your answer in a thorough self-appraisal. So you don't have to look at anybody else for why your life is the way it is, because it's your life, your choices. You make the wrong ones, that's your fault, basically. The number 11 is mentioned, Pluto, and it is the transformation that you're trying to avoid. So, Six of Swords, it's time to move on. People living deeply have no fear of death. No fear. It's about birth, sex, and death. It is about the unseen. It has similarity to Saturn, which is what we just said, Aquarius in Saturn, which is where we started. Sorry, with today's card, Aquarius in Saturn. It's about renewal and birth. Rebirth. It brings to the surface things that have been hidden or felt deep inside. They are sometimes painful to confront or embarrassing or taboo. The dwarf planet tends to inspire unwelcome surprises. Where is that tower? Pluto can be like the tower collapsing in your life. Spot on, full circle, thank you, Spirit. A life from which you must rebuild from the debris. And also inspiration. Many things have been relied upon for always being there may suddenly disappear or leave. More than anything, Pluto represents endings and new beginnings. It is not a card of physical death per se, since in our lifetimes we experience many deaths and new starts. This is simply a time when the decks are being wiped clean for new action. Most of the time you begin to feel ill at ease with a feeling that something's not quite right, and things go down strangely with an eerie silence like the Titanic. If you are in a relationship that's been difficult, it will either end or will be deepened and become more fulfilling. Any romance that starts at this time should prove to be intense. It is very important not to try and control things. Instead, you must surrender to the ups and downs for a while. Although some of these changes may be painful ones, that said, this is a time of intense sexuality. It may come in various forms: great sex, not enough sex, strange sex, but most likely intense and consuming sex. In terms of job or career, it may be time to get another. You may have been recently infatuated with hidden subjects, certain mysteries, or the taboo. This could be a time when you are able to sense and feel spirits around you. Sometimes this card indicates psychic attacks, and thus you should be very careful who you open up to. Be cautious if you're involved in anything paranormal or occult in nature, so remember to protect yourself. The light bubble that you're within that no one can enter. Be cautious if you're involved in anything paranormal or occult in nature. You are not particularly vulnerable. In fact, your strength is growing, but it is important at this point in time to spiritually protect yourself from anything negative, such as energy vampires and lost spirits looking for a home. You may become upset concerning something about your past that turns out not to be what you always thought. On a more mundane level, you may have to be more careful with your finances, taxes and inheritance. Especially, you must have the opportunity to suddenly move to a new home, but beware of the foundations, water or sewer problems, and also the possibility that that house is haunted. Think of Pluto as leftover things that tend to languish in a state of decay or decadence, but more positively, rejuvenation, healing and rebirth. Six of Swords, transformation, endings, new beginnings, new ways of life, the end of the old, and a very intense situation. Couldn't have done better, Spirit. Thank you.